That's me. And that's the background. This is the 98-inch TCL S-Class S5 TV. It's massive, but I'm gonna use it as a home virtual production backdrop. So this video is sponsored by TCL, and later I'm going to show you exactly how I got this shot, but first we just have to talk about this massive TV that made this entire home virtual production set possible. First of all, yes, the 98-inch TCL S-Class S5 TV is definitely huge, but it actually fits pretty well in the average home. I mean, here's what it looks like in this living room, which is a pretty standard sized living room, and I was able to comfortably watch content without having to sit far away. In fact, I was probably sitting about 6 feet away from the TV. And with the TV this large, it's not as expensive as you'd think. In fact, there's a Black Friday sale happening right now at all retailers nationwide where you can get this TV for half the price. Half the price at $24.99, which is such a crazy value considering the size of this TV, the 4K resolution, and stunning picture quality. Like, if you want a jaw-dropping huge TV experience, then this is the TV to get. But now let's talk viewing experience, because this is where the TV shines thanks to the full view metal bezel-less design. More screen real estate means much more to see. Now, the TV features a native 120Hz refresh rate with motion rate 480 for pristine clarity, wide color gamut and high brightness LED, backlight for a dynamic picture and high color volume, and features HDR Ultra, Dolby Atmos, and DTS Virtual X for premium picture and audio. In other words, for the non-techies out there, this TV is perfect for watching your favorite movies, TV shows, games, and sports. Oh hey, and did you know that TCL is the official TV partner of the NFL and official TV of Call of Duty? Pretty fun fact for your brains. And lastly, this model is armed with the Google TV Smart OS with a premium hands-free voice control remote, ideal for streaming YouTube. Pretty dang cool. Now for the fun part. So this is my home virtual production set. It's totally cool. There's the big TCL TV behind me, got lights up, behind the big old bounce card. I'll go through all the gear that I used for this set, and I actually had to wait till it was completely dark because light was leaking through the windows, and it kind of ruined the effect that I wanted to achieve. And so in order for me to sell this shot, I needed to have full control of the lighting. And as you can see, the lighting looks pretty cool. All right, let me show you the gear. All right, let's start with the camera and lens. The camera that I decided to use is the Sony ZV-E1. Great low light capabilities, really good dynamic range. And the lens that I decided to use was a 24-70 G Master Mark II. This lens was great because I wasn't sure if I needed a wide shot or a tight shot. I mostly shot between 50 and 70 millimeters. And so yeah, the 24-70 was a perfect lens to use for this set. Also, the autofocus capabilities of the ZV-E1 is so good. In fact, it's memorized my face, and so whenever I tell it to, it'll always track my face, which is important because nobody's here to help me film. Just me. All right, next up, lighting. I'm using two lights. Both are from Aputure/Amaran. This is the Amaran F21C. It's a flat RGB light. I really like it because it's really good for top-down shots like that, and the fact that it's RGB was really important for this setup. And that is being held by a boom arm from Impact. In fact, this whole stand is from Impact. This is great. It's on wheels, and so I'm able to easily move this light around without having to pick it up. And so yeah, wheels for the win, baby. Also, with a light setup like this, it's very important to use sandbags over here and a small sandbag as a counterbalance over here. Otherwise, this whole thing would tip over. And so yeah, safety first. And what's cool about the F21C is that I have this control panel over here to change the intensity, the saturation, the colors of this light, but I can also use the app. The app that I use to control my Aputure and Amaran lights is Sidus Link. This is pretty cool. Here's a color wheel, and I'm just gonna go through the different colors of the color wheel, and as you can see, the lighting changes. But in order to sell this effect over here, there's a cool little tool in the Sidus Link, and that's called Color Picker. Basically, you could take a picture of anything, and whatever that color is, that color will be matched and sent to the Aputure or Amaran light. Check this out, it's pretty cool. All right, so let's see, what did I do? I took a picture of this little blue thing over here. There you go. And now, I'm able to match the same light source from the background. So cool. And this light over here actually sells the effect because it creates this nice rim light. Like, look at my hand. Okay, let's just use the face over here. This actually creates a nice rim light because on this image over here, and it's a still image, there is a pink light over here. And so in order for the image to look realistic, I needed to have some sort of rim light over here that matched the color of that light source right over there. This light is actually one of my favorites. It's the Aputure MT Pro. I've got like 3 of them somewhere. They're like my favorite aperture lights ever because they're small, they're portable, they're RGB, and there's magnets on the back. But tube lights in general are just really good to have. They're so versatile, and the MT Pro really helped me like this scene. All right, moving on to this big old thing, which is essentially a huge bounce card. This is from V-Flats. On the other side is black, so if you wanted to create a negative fill to absorb light instead of reflecting light, you can use that as well. But I wanted to bounce light coming from the TV, as well as the light over here, as well as the pink light back over there, just because, you know, if I'm meant to be in this street over here, there should be light coming all the way around, and having a big bounce like this just kind of helps sell the effect a little bit more. Oh, and by the way, I am not a cinematographer at all. In fact, I suck at lighting. I am not very good, but thought process, if I figured if I can have some sort of top lighting that matches the lighting from the image, and then have some sort of rim lighting to also reflect some colors from the image, and then kind of bounce it around with a huge bounce card, then maybe I could sell the effect. And so yeah, so that was my thought process. Here's the other side of the V-Flats. Again, it's really good to use for negative fill. And what's great about the V-Flats is that they're foldable and they can pack away in a nice square pouch. But yeah, you could like pack this down and store it away like under your bed or in a closet somewhere. But yeah, very handy tool for all filmmakers and photographers. All right, and now on to the most important part, and that's camera placement and focal length. I struggled a lot on where to place the camera and deciding which focal length was the best. If I shot too wide, then you could see the entirety of the TV and the effect wouldn't have worked at all. And so I punched the focal length to about 50 millimeters and it got something pretty cool. It still wasn't believable because you could tell it was a TV, but when I pushed it a little bit tighter to about 70 millimeters, then the background starts to get a little bit blurrier and the scene becomes a little more believable. And the problem I had with this TV is that it's so good and so sharp that you could actually see the imperfections of this image. Like, it's so grainy, you see some banding over here, but you could see all of that with this crispy TV. And so, yeah, I kind of had to blur out the background just to sell the effect even more. And I also had to soften up the image too by placing a black Pro Mist filter. You don't really see it, but there is a black Pro Mist filter here. And basically what a black Pro Mist filter does is that it softens up the image and creates this, this glow effect, which was something that I wanted to achieve. I didn't want to see everything completely sharp because then you could see everything and that would have ruined the effect. And then to sell the effect even more in post-production, I just added a little bit of camera shake just to give it this handheld, realistic look. Also, distance plays a huge role to sell the effect properly. I was about maybe like 3 feet away from the TV, like probably like around over there. But that's enough distance to separate me from the background and to have that nice blurry background effect that looks like this. Oh, and if you do plan on using your TV as a virtual production backdrop, selecting the right image is huge because that will determine if you can pull off the lighting correctly. Like, honestly, I kind of got lucky like with the pink neon lights because this light over here really sells the effect for me. But before I chose this image, I actually used a different backdrop. It was a picture of a skyline, and the scene was supposed to be me walking towards a window looking at the skyline. It had just one light source, everything was dark, and there was no depth to it. It just wasn't really realistic to me, but this image actually turned out pretty well. All right, well, that's a wrap for me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, TCL, for sponsoring this video. And pretty crazy that you can get a 98-inch high-quality TV filled with a ton of tech at a great price. And I still can't believe that I was able to use it as a home virtual production backdrop. Like, it's so cool that TCL is changing the way people look at big screens by providing a high-quality, super large TV at this level with cutting-edge technology, but still achieving price points that's attractive to many. And with this 98-inch TCL S5 TV, you definitely get the best bang for your buck because you do get that jaw-dropping huge TV experience that's more available for consumers than ever before. Again, if you want to check out this huge TV, Black Friday sale happening right now. Links will be down below, but I gotta go. I'm out of here. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm really sleepy. I'm also kind of hungry, so maybe I'll eat first. But then again, it's almost morning, so maybe I'll just eat breakfast. I don't know. I gotta go. Bye.